friends that are not Catholic, and how do I talk to those friends about my faith?
Do I have friends that aren't Catholic, and how do I, or if I, share my faith with them?
So do I have friends who aren't Catholic, and do I talk about my faith with them?
I do have a few friends that are not Catholic. I will admit they are not many. I probably could count them in one hand. But what I do know, what I receive in those friendships is that we share at least some sort of common value. It may not necessarily be kind of sharing the rituals that is the Catholic faith or those details or specifics, but I know that I can rely on these friendships as an exchange of truth, goodness, and beauty. If I'm able to find that this person in my life is pursuing in some way virtue, bettering themselves as a person, and wanting to share in my life and helping me better myself as a person, there's something to be cherished there. And I think that's probably the aim of the question, is how do we even have relationships with people who don't necessarily share our faith, or even if they are Catholic or Christian, sort of by name only, and maybe not as devout. Maybe they're journeying in a different phase of their life that is theirs alone, and not for us to judge. I guess I would like to maybe share with you an example. I have this really good friend of mine for years, probably over 10 years. She's been cutting my hair. She's my hairstylist. And I've enjoyed our friendship over the years, as I would just come, sit down, be myself, talk about the events of my life. And she's just a person that, I don't know, I think a lot of people treat their hairstylists like therapists, but she definitely takes a lot of joy in sharing her life with me, and I value that in our friendship over the years. And it's something where I can know, like, I don't have to expect that she will become Catholic by it, but I can know that we are better people because of us truly loving each other and accepting each other by the good, true, and beautiful things of our life.
I wish I could say that I was an open book about my faith, but the reality is that it's sort of hit and miss. It can become a really vulnerable place for me. I don't want to come off as preachy, and so sometimes in my attempt to not come off as preachy, I just sort of hide my faith and pretend like it's not there. Now, of course, most people in my life know that I have a faith because I'm a professional youth minister for the Catholic Church, so it would be crazy if I had done that job for 10 years and didn't have a faith. But it's honestly not something that I want to talk about with my non-Catholic friends often. I don't know, it's just a vulnerable place for me. I have friends who aren't Catholic. Both of my neighbors actually are Protestant on both sides. One side and the other side across the street are both Protestant. And I talk about my faith with them. My personal faith with Jesus is a big hit, goes over really well because that's some common ground. So I try to find common ground is one thing when I have friends who aren't Catholic. Also, when there's not common ground, I just try to inform rather than boss around or preach to. So I'll try to just inform them about what Catholics believe and what we believe as Catholics, and then just leave it at that. Kind of just pragmatically, a matter of fact. So like the other day, I was like, well, we still celebrate Easter right now, so we are still doing Easter basket and that kind of thing, because it's still Easter for us right now, because we're in the Easter season. And our neighbor was like, oh, cool. So a lot of times I do share my faith with my friends who aren't Catholic. I just try to make sure it's not preachy and try to make sure it's my personal faith that I like to share with them because they're my friend.
Of course I have friends that are not Catholic. Lots of them, actually. And we do talk about the faith stuff, but my approach in sharing my faith is more subtle. I'm not the one that's going to bust out the Bible and talk about the dogma of the Catholic Church and all of the things. But it kind of seeps out slowly, I would say, in dialogue with my friends as I get to know them and get to know who they are. And there becomes a natural curiosity about how we each do life, or things that we do when things are hard, or how we manage family stress or work stress or life stress, and of course all the craziness that's going on right now. So I guess the short answer for that to me is to be more of the faith as opposed to speaking all the words about the faith. So showing up, being present, being kind, being loving, acting like Jesus would, showing up for a dialogue in casual conversation.
That being said, for those who are my Catholic friends, who I am deeply connected with, there's a different kind of relationship that can exist there, where really, point blank, my faith is my life. My faith is everything to me, and that is something I very much prize, of having a relationship where I can really, really enter into that.
All that being said, I think that one of the most important things that we can do for our friends and our family who maybe don't have a faith or have fallen away from the faith is to pray for them. Sometimes talking about our faith can be really challenging, but praying for them can be much easier. So I would encourage you that if you're not ready or able to put your faith out there for everybody to see, that you at least pray for those people that you know need it and know that need a relationship with our Lord.
I think the most effective testimony for me personally that I have seen that has changed my faith has been when folks just meet me where I'm at and love on me, and I wonder, where does that joy come from? Where does that skill or gift of curiosity about who I am and how I do life is? And more often than not, for those that have stepped in my life in that way, it has come from a place of faith and knowing who Jesus is. So I want to be that light in the world. That's my goal, I would say, in sharing my Catholic faith.